You know, I'm not a gambling woman, and for that reason, I didn't bet money that this place was gonna be an absolute failure when they announced how much it was gonna cost, and I wish that I had bet money when they announced it, because if I had, I would have been right about it being a tremendous show, and I would have earned almost enough money to be able to afford a trip to it. Hi y'all, SnarkyJay cosplay here. Fresh off the Walt Disney World news presses, we've got the announcement that Star Wars, the Galactic Starcruiser, is officially closing permanently. Disney's latest failure opened just over a year ago, and it was supposed to be the premium experience for Star Wars fans. Disney hyped it up to no end and basically made it seem like they were gonna launch you into space themselves. And in reality, what the experience is a 2-night excursion in a glorified parking lot in Orlando, Florida, where you can pretend to be a Star Wars. But by the way, you could only pretend to a certain extent, because if you grew up watching Star Wars, you glorified Luke Skywalker, you loved Darth Vader, characters like Leia, Boba Fett, and all these other fantastic characters in these amazing worlds that George Lucas gave you. If you loved that, Disney basically said, you can have our sequel trilogy, which is the only thing we'll accept as valid on this Starcruiser and on this little planet that we've built in a swampland in Florida, and that's all you get. The price, exorbitant. For 2 people, for a 2-night excursion, it was $4,800 plus. And somehow Supreme Leader Kathleen Kennedy couldn't see this failing? I mean, come on, you're literally alienating the truest, oldest, and most insane Star Wars fans. I mean, I'm not kidding. I'm part of the 501st, and these guys that grew up with Star Wars, they're all spending thousands of dollars to be Darth Vader. If you'd given them a real experience, I promise you the Starcruiser would have stayed open. But Kathleen Kennedy and her creatively bankrupt legion of Star Wars people, they've basically killed the original trilogy, killed the fans' love for it, and made the Galactic Starcruiser, which pretty much made a mockery of Star Wars. I know a lot of people that have gone and enjoyed it, and I'm so glad they liked it, and I'm sure their banks are happy that they're gonna be paying interest on that trip for years to come. But as I personally and a lot of my friends all expected, the place is officially closing. Supposedly, bookings of the Galactic Starcruiser have literally been like 10% of what was expected. In fact, on most voyages, there's 2 separate dinner times, and they literally couldn't even fill one. And of course, since this was supposed to be an ultra in-character magic experience, they can't afford to keep paying cast members and renewing contracts. The writing was on the wall from the very beginning, centering this Galactic Starcruiser experience around the sequel trilogy, which is literally even less liked than the prequel trilogy, basically doomed it from the beginning. Things only got worse with that $4,800 price tag. Kathleen Kennedy and the Imagineers behind it basically set the Galactic Starcruiser up to fail. Honestly, I'm not sure what they're gonna do with that space. If they were smart, they would make it something that you could tour, or a cheaper experience for people to be able to stay in. We now live in an economy where ordering takeout seems like a luxury. How is a family of 4 gonna afford upwards of $8,000 to go play Star Wars for 2 days? For that kind of money, you could go to like Europe or an all-inclusive in the Caribbean. I mean, you could literally do anything, and anything would be better than basically being punished for being a fan of the original trilogy when all they want to do is shove the sequel trilogy merchandise down your throat. And you might be sitting there thinking you're just bitter because you couldn't afford it. And you know what? Yeah, I am bitter I couldn't afford it. I'm not a millionaire, and even if I was, $4,800 for 2 nights in Orlando, Florida, that is a tough sell. Though Disney now seems hell-bound on preaching inclusivity and all kinds of other social awareness topics, they really aren't socially aware enough to respect the pockets of people that just want to have a little bit of fun if they're gonna literally extort you for almost $5,000 for their Star Wars hotel. You can talk about inclusivity and wanting to make magic for all, but when nobody can afford it, your Star Wars hotel is definitely gonna close. Am I sad to see the Galactic Starcruiser fail? In a way, yes. I think it sounded like a great idea in theory. They basically tried to make a role-playing experience for Star Wars fans to come and enjoy 2 nights where they could really delve into just being in that world. I hope that what Disney learns from this is not that the idea was bad, just that the execution was bad. Lower prices, maybe more rooms, maybe less of an experience, but more inclusion of the original trilogy, which is what we're all here for. Maybe that would make it work. Either way, I guess we'll see what happens with the Galactic Starcruiser moving forward. Its last voyage is set to set sail on September 28th, and it will close its doors permanently, or if you ask me, for the time being, on September 30th, 2023. And that's all from me. I've been SnarkyJay. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts on the closure of Disney's Galactic Starcruiser in the comments below.